A 5% increase in customer retention can grow your profit by 25 to 95%. The common belief is that growth comes from acquisition, more traffic, more ad spend, more new customers. If the revenue is flat, the first instinct is always to increase the paid ad budget or test a new creative. The entire D2C playbook is built around getting the first sale. But here is what the math actually shows. The cheapest, highest leverage growth move you can make is keeping the customers you already have. And the difference between a brand that retains well and one that does not is not dramatic. It's a small gap that compounds into an enormous advantage over time. My name is Marc, I run Relane, a retention marketing agency for D2C brands. We have helped over 100 brands increasing LTV by an average of 55% in 12 months. Not by sending more campaigns, by building CRM systems that move the numbers that actually show up on a P&L. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the actual math behind retention. I will show you a real scenario comparing two brands that start at the same revenue and what happens when one retains 5% more customers per year. And then I will show you the 4 levers that actually move that number. Let me start with the numbers. And I want you to pay close attention because this is where most founders change their mind about how they run their business. Take two D2C brands. Both do $5 million in year 1. Both acquire new customers at the same rate. The only difference, brand A has a 5% annual churn rate, brand B has a 20% annual churn rate. In year 1, the gap is barely noticeable. Brand A is ahead by maybe a few $100,000. Most founders would look at that and say it does not matter. Now look at year 3. The gap has grown to over $2 million. Brand A is pulling ahead because every retained customer buys again without costing another dollar in acquisition. Those customers also refer friends, leave reviews, and buy at full price more often. By year 5, brand A is worth $44 million. Brand B is worth $70 million. That is a 280% gap. Same starting point, same acquisition strategy, same product. The only difference was retention. And here's what most people miss about this. Churn looks harmless in the short term. You lose a few customers. You replace them with new ones. The revenue line stays flat and everything feels fine. But the math is working against you in the background. Every lost customer has to be replaced. And replacing a customer costs 5 to 7 times more than keeping one. Selling to a new prospect converts at 5 to 20%. Selling to an existing one converts at 60 to 70%. Over time, that cost difference compounds, and most brands do not realize how much churn is eating their margins until it's too late. I saw this with a fitness fashion brand we took on. They were doing about 12 million in revenue. Their retention was average for the industry, nothing terrible, but they were spending so aggressively on acquisition that their margins were shrinking every quarter. The founder kept asking us, how do we get more new customers? We told him, you don't have an acquisition problem, you have a retention problem that is forcing you to over-acquire. When we ran the numbers, every 1% improvement in their retention rate saved them more than what the 10% increase in ad spend would have generated. And it cost a fraction of the price. So which levers actually move retention? This is where most brands make a mistake. They think retention means email. But retention is a system, not a channel. And here are 4 levers that make the biggest difference. Lever 1. Post-purchase experience. The first 30 days after a purchase determine whether someone becomes a repeat buyer or a one-time customer. If your post-purchase flow is a shipping confirmation and then silence, you are leaving money on the table. Build a system that educates, reassures, and creates excitement in that window. I covered this in detail in another video, but the short version is fill the gap between the first and the second purchase with value, not silence. Lever 2. Reorder timing. Every product has a natural consumption cycle. If you sell coffee, your customers run out every 3 to 4 weeks. If you sell skincare, it is every 6 to 8 weeks. Supplements, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. Most brands do not measure this. They send campaigns on a calendar schedule, Tuesday campaign, Thursday campaign, regardless of when the customer actually needs more. Instead, build flows that trigger based on when the customer is actually likely to need a refill. Precision beats volume every time. Level 3. Multi-channel CRM. Email alone is not enough. The brands with the highest retention rates connect email, SMS, WhatsApp, and even direct mail into one system. Each channel reaches the customer in a different context. An email might get ignored. An SMS at the right moment might trigger an instant order. A handwritten postcard after the third purchase might create a customer for life. The point is not to be on every channel. The point is to have the right message on the right channel at the right moment. Level 4. Measure what matters. Most email agencies report open rates and click rates. Your CFO does not care about open rates. Those numbers do not show up in the P&L. The metrics that actually predict whether your business will survive are revenue per contact, repurchase rate, LTV by cohort, and contribution margin. If your retention partner cannot tell you these numbers, they are not measuring what matters. Back to that fitness brand. We focused on these 4 levers. Rebuilt their post-purchase flow, built reorder triggers based on actual product data, added SMS for time-sensitive moments, and shifted their reporting from open rates to revenue per contact and repurchase rate. After 6 months, their repurchase rate went from 22% to 36%. Their customer acquisition costs stayed flat because they no longer needed to replace as many lost customers, and their contribution margin improved by 19%. This is what a small retention uplift looks like when it compounds. If you want to see where your brand sits on this spectrum, take the free retention score. It takes 5 minutes and it compares your CRM to brands that are growing profitably. You will see exactly which of these 4 levers needs the most work. The link is in the description. If this math changed how you think about your business, subscribe. I break down the financial side of retention every week. See you on the next one.